So the reason I wanted to come out here was that all the UMass food scraps from the dining commons come here.
Oh, this is what?
This is where they end up. And then they're now coming back as compost to the gardens, to the permaculture gardens. So we're finally starting to close the loop, which is really exciting. And the reason I wanted to kind of rope you into this is that we have a lot of plastic that ends up, I guess, in the DC waste, that ends up in the compost.
Yeah, we find spoons and stuff even in our, once we get the compost, we're still like, we sometimes pull out.
Exactly. And it may block the guy who makes it from being organic certified.
Oh.
And I guess there's a lot of controversy about, whether the plastic leaches into the compost and whether it's safe. So I just thought, holy cow, it's now going back to UMass, and it seems like we could figure out a way to change that. Because I guess there's just like 8 DC workers that sort through everything. Why don't we just not put not let the plastic get in the compost in the first place? So anyway, I just thought maybe you all could help me somehow find a way to ask Ken Toon if he would be willing to make a policy to train the workers to keep the plastic out of the compost.
Is the compost? I don't know if the compost that isn't in the DCs, like at the Blue Wall and stuff, if that's even sorted. I think it might be a problem of people not, even though they just did this whole thing, they redid all the compost bins in the campus center to like have more labeling about what can go in the compost, but there's still probably a lot of confusion and people just like throw things into whatever bin, and I think that might be where a lot of the problem lies, because I don't see where in the DC, like I'm pretty sure that's probably being sorted to a good extent, but in the campus center not as much.
So my idea might not work at all.
Well, unless they could like hire people to sort that.
He's in danger of not being organic certified because there's plastic. But what about the food that comes from the DC that's not organic in the first place? Does that affect it at all?
I guess not. I guess the composting process deals with that. I'm not really into the. I don't think you'd have much compost.
Yeah, if it all had to be organic. Yeah, I had someone asking me that at the Earth Day fair. They were talking to me about starting their own compost bin, and they said, I don't want to start my own compost bin with food from here because it's not organic, and I'm afraid that then my compost won't be organic. Is that a thing? And I was like, I've never even thought of that.
Yeah, I know.
I have no.
That's a
I feel like that might
factor.
Yeah, if that's actually what makes compost organic, how could compost be organic ever?
Right.
It's like one specific person making a specific organic
Exactly.
compost.
I
That's
can't
kinda
imagine
worries me,
that's
incredibly
part
hard
of
to
the
regulate.
certification.
Because there's a lot of messed up things in our food. So like, I wonder what of it. I mean, and the chicken we get is not from like that. All goes in too, right? Like,
Yeah, we
so
put in
the
meat,
chicken we
put in
get
dairy.
is raised on antibiotics, a lot of them, and things
Yeah.
like that. So I'm just wondering like how much of that actually goes in the compost.
Yeah.
I know microbes are amazing at breaking down
Yeah.
chemicals.
But pesticides, some of them can't be broken down.
Yeah.
So
That'd be interesting research too.
It would.
Yeah. I mean, what they always say about, like, when you're doing small-scale composting, they always say, like, don't do dairy, don't do meat, and then they always say with the UMass composting, oh, it's so large-scale that it doesn't even matter, so we just do everything.
Yeah.
This is actually a lot less industrial than I imagined it would be.
Yeah,
I imagined a giant factory that was like, compost. Like, yeah, I just,
Do you know
what,
the
like,
process?
is this rotated? How is this? What? How did they
Loader, it's
dump
all
off?
front-end loader. Did you see that there was a big
foodie
we passed on the way in, but I think actually just kind of goes along and very slowly turns it, and it just kind of goes over the pile and it turns it.
Oh, so where does all the food? So the food waste is just dumped on, like incorporated in those piles?
Yeah, those windrows.
So
then
each
they
of the
sit
piles
the
different
green
stage of
biodegradable
Yeah, so these
plastic
are newer.
bags
Like you can still
that
see
go in the food waste trash bins.
The green the compostable plastic bags, do those compost?
I don't believe in plastic in the, I don't, it'll biodegrade in the sun, but not in the composting. I mean, I'm sure you're finding, I'm finding a lot of plastic in compost that I'm putting in
We're
my
mostly
garden.
finding metal soil.
Oh, really?
We pull out metal soil
Really?
everywhere. I've pulled out a lot of like
Really?
spoons and
I'm
forks.
finding a lot of plastic.
And that seems like a dining hall thing. If there's a spoon or a fork in
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
it's
finding
metal,
some mangled.
then that's a dining hall problem.
Yeah.
Is the plastic that you're finding, is it the ones that are supposed to be compostable, or are they like regular plastic
Good
spoons?
question.
Because some of them are,
That's
they're
all
usually
labeled.
labeled, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
And they look
there are some
different.
regular plastic,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Right now, almost all the plastic that comes from the blue wall is
Is composted.
composted.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
And
definitely
the
finding
plates
plastic
and
spoons.
Like the white plastic ones?
Mm-hmm.
Or are
Okay.
they
Or the, like,
some
slightly
are white,
Some of the
beige-ish.
might be
compostable ones are
non-compostable.
kind of like a
Beige.
knockoff.
Oh, that's right.
Those are
They're-
beige
Okay.
colored.
Well,
And you
so
can
maybe
definitely
it is
tell the
working.
difference.